So I encourage you again to open the presentation and follow along with us so you get a clear view of what we're talking about. So the first point that we'll be covering today is our ambassador program. So as a reminder, we have recently built a new revamped ambassador program with a whole defined system. And the reason why we wanted to do that is because our community as a whole has grown a lot with more than 34,000 people on here, Discord, and more than 21,000 people on Twitter. And the goal of the ambassadors, right, is to make sure the community stays informed and safe and engaged. So we needed a better structure, a better organization for that to follow through. And the reason why we think it's a good thing for the engaged people of their community, like for instance, if you're in this call, you're very early and you're some of the most engaged people of our community. And Stereo has mentioned before, the opportunity to be an ambassador is one of the best ways to enter the space. We're looking for all kinds of people, from people who are already established in the space to students who are interested in the space. It's the perfect gateway for you to get a first taste, a first experience, and get some experience, right, in the space. If your plan is to contribute to the ecosystem, this is in my opinion the best way to get started. We'll remind you in the chat of what the exact ambassador program consists in, but we have introduced a more clear structure. So people join in and apply, and we review and we select the people that we think can bring their share to the table. And you start with a two-week test period where we analyze a bit what are your strengths and how you can help and how we can help you as well. And after that, we then introduce you to the structure of the program itself. If you check on the presentation, now we have some tools to make the working experience of our ambassadors clear and their mission clear as well. We have what we call an ambassador hub, where everything that the ambassador needs is collected and focused in one point. And what we do is we provide them with tasks, right? For instance, for today's main announcement, we needed clear materials, like translated for our sub communities, for the French community, the Russian community, the Chinese speaking community. So that was one of the missions, for instance. And right, one of the ambassadors takes lead on that and moves along with that. So the ambassadors are really some of the most engaged and passionate members of the community, and they in turn get rewarded for it. We provide them with sessions with the team to get information in advance, to review our products in advance as well. So we highly recommend you we will link the Vincent, if you're with us, you can link that in the Taiga main chat, how to apply to be an ambassador. So we really encourage you to give it a shot. Another thing that we wanted to update you on today is we've been in the process of incorporating Taiga into some of the main tools that you guys in the Kusama community use. And more broadly in the Web3 space, right? So we've been recently listed on .marketcap. So now on .marketcap, you can follow everything related to Taiga, from the price of our token, TAI, to information about the protocol itself. And hopefully in the future, we can be integrated to their calendar system as well, where you can follow up the community calls and any event regarding our protocol. We've also been listed now on CoinMarketCap. The data is not tracked just yet, but it's a very good sign, and we're in the process of applying for the other main tools that are used by the community. If you have recommendations on tools that you use and would like to see Taiga listed on or included, reach out to one of the ambassadors, and we'll be happy to review that for you. So that was the community update for us on our side for these 2 past weeks. We have a main piece of announcement today that we'd like to cover, and that is our liquidity migration program. So since the 8th of March, we've been in a soft launch period, which has had its benefits for us. It's been an occasion for us to tally some numbers and identified engaged members of the community, and to make sure everything was running smooth. And today is the time where we complete like total launch, and where current liquidity providers on the Karura D app are going to be able to transfer their liquidity position, right? KSM, LKSM positions to the Taiga protocol, and that has a number of advantages. First thing, I will give you the main information about when that goes down. So the timing is really interesting, because we are having the call now and in 2 hours time. So it is going to be 4 p.m. UTC. So in exactly 2 hours, the event is going to kick off, and it's going to be running for 2 weeks. So up until the 28th at midnight. So UTC time. That will be the end of the event. This event is really important for us, and I will give Terry the occasion to explain what the event is, and what are the advantages for people going to partake in the event. You can go ahead, Terry.
Okay, sure. Yeah, just a reminder. I think the slides that we're going through, has that been shared in? Okay, yeah, it's been shared. Okay, so the stuff that Adam was going through, right? Like, you guys can find it in the whiteboard for those who are wondering, like, like what's the agenda that we're going off of. So, good to be back, to chat with you guys. As mentioned, Adam has introduced the ambassador program. We're seeing a lot of participants applying. So again, right, I think the most important thing is, if you guys, have an interest to get started in crypto, this is probably the best place, because, there are different tasks that you guys can take up, and it's the best way for you to get to know how a crypto project is operated. So I think we've helped a few community members to on board, as well as get them ready, and now they feel good about talking about crypto. So that's always a good way. But jumping into the main event for today, obviously, is the liquidity migration event. We've been kind of drumming this piece up over the last month or so during the entire soft launch period. But ultimately, what it does is it's a chance for LPs who are currently staking in the Karura KSM and LKSM pool to migrate the liquidity onto Taiga. For those who kind of remembers, how the experience is right now, if let's say you're making a trade between KSM or LKSM on the Karura D app, that trade is currently being routed through the Karura DEX. Okay, so since last month, so soft launch, we've integrated Taiga protocol directly into the Karura DEX, meaning that now users can choose how they want to execute that KSM to LKSM trade. And the reason why we've integrated into the Karura DEX directly is because the Taiga protocol, one of the core function is to enable swap executions between assets that share a similar value, which in this case, KSM and LKSM. If you guys are following in the flyer, on the second last slide, we've actually indicated the benefits of using the Taiga protocol to make the same swap versus Karura DEX. In short, for traders, you guys get less slippage and you guys get basically more value in your trade versus if you guys were to do it on Karura DEX. So given that's the fact, we are now officially, starting the migration program so that the existing KSM and LKSM liquidity can be moved over onto the Taiga protocol. Okay. So, soon, our plan is to, slowly phase out the, KSM and LKSM liquidity on Karura DEX and then make that all become available onto the Taiga protocol. And the deeper the pool, basically, the better transaction experience that you guys will get. So, in roughly an hour and 40 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes or so, we're going to officially kickstart the liquidity migration campaign. So it's very simple. All you guys need to do is go on to the Karura the app, go into the swap function, and then you guys will see there's a bootstrap toggle. Make sure you're on the bootstrap toggle, and then if let's say you have existing liquidity, then you can just follow the steps outlined there. It's first you have to remove, and then you have to put it back in to the Thai KSM pool, and then you can decide once you put in the liquidity, you'll get Thai KSM in return, and then you can either stake it or you can just hold on to it. So let's talk about the fun stuff, which is how the reward system works. So basically, let's see here. All right, so we've allocated 2.5 million Thai for the Thai KSM pool. So we're going to be tracking how much liquidity has been migrated over and how much liquidity in general has been added to the Thai KSM pool as a whole, starting in an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, so for those who has KSM liquidity right now, and if you guys are not exactly sure where to put that to work, you guys can definitely look at our pool because, right now the indicative APR is up to 50%. We're not showing the yields right now. I mean, we're not showing the APRs on the app right now because because we still need to run some usage data in terms of how to best allocate the rewards. But this 2.5 million Thai rewards will be for the entire sort of Thai KSM pool throughout the course of 1 year. So again, right, I'm sure for those who are familiar with liquidity mining, the earlier you get into a pool, the higher the rewards. That's the same situation for us currently. Right now, for those who are not familiar, there's roughly around 500K worth of KSM liquidity in the Thai KSM pool. So that's already providing users with a very decent swap experience. So again, right, if let's say you're making a sizable trade, I would say anywhere more than $1,000 worth of KSM, you guys should definitely consider using the Thai KSM pool because it proves to be able to provide more cost savings for you guys. So definitely do check that out. And then going back to, I guess, one of the main questions of why should you provide liquidity, right, to this particular pool? Like what's the benefits for you? So there's a number of them, right? Number one is the Thai KSM pool. Thai KSM in itself, right? It rolls up the yield from the underlying assets. So in this case, because LKSM is a interest-bearing derivative of KSM, so those interests are actually rolled up into Thai KSM. Okay, so even though it will be spread amongst everyone that's holding on to Thai KSM, but still you would get exposure to the LKSM yield just by holding Thai KSM. And then the second thing is, we've mentioned this a few times. We will be running usage based airdrops based on the amount of Thai KSM you guys are holding on to, and this is where the 2.5 million budget comes out of. This is where it's going to be allocated to, right? So once we've sort of determined the right way to distribute this reward, you guys, for those who have been holding Thai KSM or for those who are looking to migrate or add new liquidity, you guys will get to tap into this pool. Again, APY right now stands to be upwards of 50%, up to 50% APR. And then finally, the interesting piece is the opportunity to get whitelist for future cross sales, because I know obviously cross sales or public sales is a very hot commodity in the space. So whether we're gonna be doing one for the Taiga token or the Tapio token, which we haven't revealed the brand yet, but I think most of you guys know. Tapio is our implementation on the Akala and Polkadot side. But ultimately, this by participating right now, you guys would have the chance to get whitelist, because as Adam mentioned a little bit earlier, you guys who are listening in right now are super early. So that's one of the ways for us to show our token of appreciation for people who sort of start the journey with us from the beginning. So given all of that, right, a lot of, some of the questions that I've received in our Discord, people are actually measuring to the dot of the exact yield of the Thai KSM versus, let's say, just holding LKSM. One thing that I can share is that from our point of view, making Thai KSM as competitive as possible in terms of not only just yield, but in terms of utility, as well as in terms of the extra benefits that you guys can get, would help drive adoption. So we believe these 3 points that I've just mentioned will take Thai KSM to the next level, and you guys will start to see the benefits of it. One more piece of update around Thai KSM is that we'll be opening up the collateral access, meaning that once you have your Thai KSM, you can actually stake it through collateral staking, and then you can actually mint AUSD from Thai KSM. So this function will be opening up very shortly over the course of the next 7 days or so. We've already ran through the process behind. So that basically adds additional utility to it, because with AUSD, what you can do with it is to put it into the different AUSD pools on Karura, and obviously they are incentivizing AUSD pools. So that's sort of how you can unlock the most utility out of Thai KSM. We have a flyer actually, but I don't think we shared it. Maybe Adam, you can share it in the group. In terms of how users can actually unlock the most utility out of their KSM. If you can share that flyer in the whiteboard, everyone can sort of take a look at. So okay, let's go into the next slide, which talks about advantages for LPs. Again, at a runway of TVL at 1 million, the indicative APR is around 51%. When the pool size reaches 5 million, it drops to 22%, and then when it goes to 10 million, APR drops to 17% approximately. So this is just from this rolls up all the LKSM yield, the Thai rewards, but then what it doesn't include is the additional sort of benefits that you would get from holding Thai KSM. Okay, so on the right hand side, we're describing basically the additional sort of yield that Thai KSM provides is the redemption fees as well as swap fees. Obviously, this is a very positively correlated function, right? If there's more liquidity in the pool, then the entire swap experience is going to be better. And once the swap experience is better, then there's going to be more trades, and that leads to additional swap fees. So it's a positive loop that we'll have to go through for Thai KSM, but ultimately we are trying to make this asset as competitive as possible. Let me see if Adam, you shared it. Not yet.
Didn't want to cut you. So you mean the three pool
Well, it's the flyer where we show the KSM comes in. They can mint Thai KSM, and then Thai KSM can either go into the Thai versus Thai KSM pool, or it can be used to borrow AUSD.
Got it. I'll be sending that in the whiteboard now. Okay.
Yeah. So this if I can get your attention, take a look into the flyer that take a look into the flyer that was just shared in the AMH whiteboard. So unstoppable yields on KSM. Okay, so really it is unstoppable because there's a few things that you could do with it. Okay, besides just holding on to Thai KSM. So the first step is whether you're holding KSM or LKSM, you can provide that into the Thai KSM pool. This is where the migration program happens. If, let's say, for those who are tuning in just now, we're talking about how to make the best use on your KSM. So the first step is you could contribute either KSM or LKSM into the Thai KSM pool. Okay, this pool supports single-sided staking or both sides. Okay, unproportional. So you guys feel free to add whichever amount to test out to begin with. Once you provide the liquidity, you would get Thai KSM in return. I'm not going to go through the benefits. You guys can read along. But once you get Thai KSM, you have two options. Okay. The first option is, look to the left, is you can provide Thai KSM to the Thai KSM to Thai pool, which is currently available right now. Okay. For this pool, you would have to provide proportional liquidity. Okay, to both sides. So if, let's say, you have some Thai tokens, and you have the same amount of Thai KSM, you can contribute to this pool. Okay. And again, the benefits of this pool is there's swap fees. And then there's also, you would get the underlying yields, okay, for, LKSM because you're holding on to Thai KSM. Okay. And the second thing that you could do, which currently is not available yet, it's something that we're working on, is you can borrow against Thai KSM, so you get AUSD, and then for the AUSD, you can contribute it to a stablecoin pool that we are currently working on. Okay, so how many layers of yield? That's at least like two layers of yield that you guys can, 3 layers of yield, like the underlying, and then from the Thai KSM. The Thai rewards, and then borrowing that and then putting it into stablecoin. So like that's 3 different layers of yields that you guys can get. So this is super important. And once the function is open, obviously we will be running some stats on how the returns actually stack up against some of the comparable products that are currently out on the market for KSM. But one thing that, I'm pretty sure the comparable products would not be able to offer is the, additional benefits, right? Like whether you guys get exclusive access to, whitelist for public sales, or even if you guys are just contributing right now early, the usage-based, rewards that you guys would be able to get on top. Okay. So definitely do not, miss the chance. Okay. So, the next slide, just basically, talking about the advantages for traders, because we've covered the benefits for LPs. This slide here basically just demonstrates how much of a cost savings a user would be able to receive if you were using Taiga protocol to the KSM to LKSM swap and vice versa. So, just jumping in directly, if you guys are looking into the bar on the right hand side, the one with the dark shade of green, if let's say, obviously, this depends on the liquidity depth. It's not indicated here what's the depth of the liquidity. We can add that in afterwards. But ultimately, when we were doing the trade of trying to swap 100 KSM, if we were using Karura DEX, we would get 97.74 in terms of value, right? Value, like $100 worth of KSM. We would get like 97.74 worth of LKSM. But then if let's say we were using the Taiga protocol, we would get $101.14. So that's a close to $4 difference, and obviously that's going to be a lot more significant if let's say you're doing 10,000 worth of KSM, and as your trade scales. Okay, so this is also one of the key main benefits of trading, right? Just trading using our protocol, and yeah, that's pretty much it. These are like the main points that wanted to cover with you guys today. Mainly is to take this chance to introduce the liquidity migration event. If you know somebody that is currently providing liquidity, or if you're just holding on to a little bit of high KSM, a little bit or a lot, we welcome all. Now is the chance for you guys to participate in the protocol. Adam?
Yeah, amazing. So just as a reminder, guys, the event is going to kick off in 1 hour and a half. That's 4 p.m. UTC. What we want you to do is keep an eye on the announcement channel, because we're going to be pushing our main piece, which is the Medium article, and you guys can find all of the information on there. But it's a very tight schedule, and in an hour and a half, we'll be kicking off the event itself. So Terry, regarding recently, we've seen in the ecosystem and news directly concerning Taiga. We've seen a lot of stuff going on recently, and how important is this specific event in this whole, and what's at stake for Taiga in the coming weeks and months? Because we've seen a lot of noise happening around the ecosystem right now.
Yeah, it's there's definitely a lot of things happening right now for the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, and on the good side, obviously, I think right now a lot of people are expecting XCM to open up soon in the Polkadot ecosystem, and once that's open, right, that's gonna really empower liquidity, like moving in between different parachains. But I think focusing on us, the things that sort of affect us or benefit us is if you guys have been following the development on Akala and Karura side, they recently announced a few things. Number one is they merged the KUSD into AUSD. So right now there's one sort of unified stablecoin now in that the Akala team is pushing. We're strong supporters of that because we feel like they're very well positioned to capture the stablecoin market within the Polkadot and Karura ecosystem, and that's why we are sort of acting as the engine, right, behind the stablecoin pairs as well. That's why in the flyer earlier I mentioned about we're working on a 3 pool, but outside of the AUSD. Yesterday, the Akala team announced, the KSM, the LKSM as well as LDOT asset would be supported by Anchor. So that's a pretty significant development in terms of, working with ecosystems or projects, outside of the Polkadot ecosystem. Obviously, Anchor has done a phenomenal job in the Terra ecosystem in terms of attracting deposits. They've recently expanded into the Avalanche ecosystem, and now they are expanding into Akala. So obviously, right, like the opportunity there is right now, if let's say you're holding on to LKSM, you're able to get more yield, right? Because you can either put it onto Anchor to generate like given the underlying LKSM yield, like you're already collecting, you can also put like LKSM into Anchor to collect additional yield. So obviously it's a major development. I would say on a high level that the KSM asset can actually, KSM and dot asset can actually, move out of the Polkadot ecosystem. So that as a whole, right, gives us an opportunity, because, ultimately we are a derivatives asset protocol. And, the more recognition that the KSM or the dot asset, gets outside of the Polkadot ecosystem, the better, it is for us as well. In terms of the exact, game plan on how to capture that opportunity, this is something that we would need to work alongside, the Akala team, and hopefully, with the Anchor team as well. But obviously the immediate opportunity is, the third announcement is the wormhole integration, right? So, wormhole would be integrated into Karura first, then Akala. This conversation I've kind of, gave you guys an update, a heads up, probably I think 2 community calls ago or 2 or 3 community calls ago, where I indicated that we're also working with a bridging provider, and this is, this is wormhole, right? So, wormhole would be, bringing in, assets, would be enabling assets to flow through into the Akala and Karura ecosystem. So, for stablecoins, for all the stablecoin assets, we will be sort of taking care of the stablecoin liquidity that's coming in, because, for example, the 3 pool that I mentioned, that's going to be composed of AUSD, USDC, and USDT. Out of those pairs, USDC would be using the wormhole bridge to come in, and you guys obviously know like the volume and the just the sheer sizing of those liquidity from the EVM chains. And if those liquidity were to come in, then you can imagine if we're able to bootstrap this pool effectively, the sizing of this 3 pool would be pretty enormous. Okay, and so this is something that we'll be working on and focusing on for our next initiative, after the migration program kind of complete. So we'll be shifting gears from HighKSM onto rolling out the stablecoin pool. And again, we will definitely have another session just focusing on the benefits of participating in 3 pool. So all in all, right, I would say everything that's going on in the Polkadot ecosystem, and specifically the Akala and Karura ecosystem, has been positive, and we're trying our best to work together with them, as well as help drive adoption for AUSD. So, Adam.
Amazing, great, thank you. So I think we have now time for some AMA questions. Let's head out. You guys can head out to the AMA chat, not the whiteboard, the AMA chat, and ask us any questions that you might have regarding the event or the protocol itself. The first question today from Ivan Marslik. So today at 1:50 p.m., Terry, if you want to read. When will the current liquidity event end, and when will we get the reward airdrop for it? So for the first one, I'll answer it. The event's going to be starting today in 1 hour and 20 minutes. So that's 4 p.m. UTC, and it's going to be running for 2 weeks. So up until the 28th of April at midnight. So that's 2 weeks. And Terry, when can we expect people? Do we have like a date in terms of airdrops for them?
We don't have a date yet. So again, right, what we need to do is we will be looking into the usage of the overall protocol, because I did mention that there will be a mechanism that we will use to determine how to allocate the the Thai tokens as rewards, right? So, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with participating in different types of airdrops, but so far, I think the entire space has kind of moved towards a more sophisticated way of doing drops. So we do want to encourage like early usage behavior, and that's why during the soft launch period, like that, we kept promoting, try the protocol, use the protocol, deposit it, do some swaps, try some redemptions. And if you guys don't have like an emergency need for let's say your Thai KSM, right? Like, just stake it, because ultimately these behaviors are going to contribute to the usage, the usage factor. Okay. And ultimately the usage factor is going to determine, how much, the retroactive airdrops you guys will be able to get. So, to answer the question, we do not have an exact date. However, it will not be too long, because we do wish to get the Thai tokens out into the right hands. Because for those who are, supporting us and who sort of wants to be on this ride for the long term, we want to allow you to, restake that Thai tokens back into our Thai to Thai KSM pool. So sort of create that positive flywheel effect.
Great, thank you. I hope you had your answer, Ivan. Let us know if you need more clarity on it. Another question is, how do we get the super Taigan role, and what does this role provide? So we've been a little low-key on that, but what we've been doing is identifying the most engaged community members and bringing them in a smaller group where we can discuss more privately about the protocol itself and some community initiatives, etc. So we're not going to be talking about that too much, but we regularly will be selecting engaged members of the community and bringing them in with a number of advantages. But if we will DM you directly if you're one of them in the future, but this is a way for us to organize our Discord a little bit better. Another question. This one's been answered by answer already. The APR values in the slide, so the projections that we have, is this true for the Thai KSM pool only, or also for the Thai and Thai KSM pool? This is a.
It's only for the Thai. It's for push a lot. This is the 51% and 20. Yeah. So the indicative rates that you guys are seeing right now, it's only for Thai KSM.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. For the Thai KSM pool. So for the KSM and LKSM. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thank you for the answer. Do we have any other good question in here? So we had a question that had 3 upvotes here. This one is a bit long, so I will read it out loud and you tell me. So Akala with Karura is not noticed, so that everyone works with stables on Kusama Polkadot. Stable cases with the appearance of Karura and Akala as the main ones at the intersection. I'm afraid I'm not following. Valerie, could you if you can make sense of it, Terry, you can answer it. But if you can rewrite your question for me, and then we'll be happy to answer it. I have trouble understanding it right now.
Yeah, I think if I'll just look at the question, maybe it was from a translation tool. I think what Valerie B is asking is, USDT coming into the Polkadot ecosystem, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Mm-hmm. I think in general, right, like it's right now we're still at a point where diversity, I feel like it's good. And if you guys look into the stablecoin models between AUSD versus, let's say, USDT, right? AUSD is a substrate native. USDT is also substrate native. They're going to be minted on StateMine. However, the backing is slightly different. The AUSD is obviously has its own collateral list of collaterals, whereas USDT is a sort of off-chain treasury-backed type of stablecoin. So again, right, like I'm not here to comment on which model is better or which model is safer. That's for you guys to decide. But ultimately, right now, as from a user's perspective, right, it's good to have options. And I feel like a lot of liquidity right now still sits in USDT. So for the entire Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem to really open up, you would need one of those like major stable coins to also be available in the Polkadot ecosystem. That would open up a lot of access because it's just very, very simple, right? If let's say somebody that's been using a lot of centralized exchange trading a lot of stuff on centralized exchanges, they would be most comfortable with using USDT. And for these guys, like, if you're forcing them to just use AUSD, then it will probably a little bit difficult for them to adopt the Akala or Karura ecosystem. So I overall, right, I think it's a positive development for USDT to be in the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem.
Amazing, thank you. So this is great. I hope you had your answer, Valerie B. So this question has been answered. If you guys have any other questions, let us know in the AMA chat. Let me take a look. I think we've answered most of them. Sorry.
Well, this new one, Pushalot said, so I have to stake using this way, earn collateral staking. Yes. So again, right, the high KSM that you get in return, no matter whether you're just holding onto it, you're putting into collateral staking, or you're putting into the Thai KSM pool, all of these behavior is going to qualify you. Okay, like you don't have to worry. Oh, like how exactly should I use it? Like we have not defined it. The only parameters that we've indicated is we want to drive usage within sort of the Karura the app, mainly within our functions, right? So right now, again, for those who are not familiar, you guys can swap, okay, between KSM and LKSM. You guys can contribute liquidity to sort of mint Thai KSM. And then once you have Thai KSM, you can either put it into collateral staking, you can put it into the Thai KSM pool, or you can just do nothing with it and just, hold on to it. Like all of these behaviors are going to get you qualified. So you don't have to worry.
Cool. Amazing. We have a new question from Zin saying, right now we only have CAR to KSM, a one-way bridge. Do we plan to have a bridge from Karura to Kusama?
Do we plan to have a bridge from Karura to Kusama? Because now we only have KSM to KR. Okay, this is a question that the Akala team needs to answer.
Yeah,
I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a question directed at us, but I guess it's interesting to go. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, now's the time. I think we've answered pretty much all of the main ones. Let me see. So just for clarification, us tallying the numbers, like the wallets from participants for Thai KSM is retroactive, right? We're going to be looking at people from the soft launch.
Yeah, it's retroactive. We will be looking at everyone. That's why we encourage everybody to sign up, participate in the soft launch as well. But it's great. Like, we were able to get some decent traction. We were able to get a bunch of good feedback during our soft launch periods, even and as well, like prior to the soft launch periods, like campaigns that we've we've ran. But steadily, we're opening up fully so then everybody can enjoy the maximum benefits.
Great, amazing. So I think we've answered most of them. So we'll be wrapping up. As a quick summary for you guys, I'll be sending on the Taiga chat our Medium article about the ambassador program. I encourage you to read it again and see if you see fit, you can apply, and we'll be happy to review it. The second thing is we've been integrated to tools such as .marketcap and CoinMarketCap. One thing you can do to support a project is head over to CoinMarketCap, and if you have a CoinMarketCap account, you can add the Taiga to your watch list, so you can keep updated on any new element on the platform from us. And then obviously the announcement for the liquidity migration program, which will be kicking off in about an hour. So yeah, keep an eye on the announcements channel. We're going to be pushing the materials now, and we have, for our Russian speaking and French speaking as well as Chinese speaking communities, we have translated our materials, so you'll be able to follow along more comfortably, and we'll have them sent into your dedicated channels. So that will be all for us. This one has been answered before, but I think it's interesting to cover it. What is the role of the TAI token, Terry?
So there's a few functions, right? Like the TAI token is the governance token for Taiga. So obviously, like, just very simply put, right? Like right now, the TAI token is going to be used as sort of the governance token to manage like the different allocations for the different pools. Like ultimately, it's going to come down to people that have the TAI tokens can not only be rewarded for contributing liquidity, but also deciding how the budget would be spent. Previously, there's a bunch of other functions that I've indicated, but I just want to zone in on particularly this function, because ultimately it's going to result in your power to sort of influence, right? Like how much pools would be able to get in terms of the allocation. And then obviously, like TAI token initially is being used to sort of bootstrap our community. That's why we have the community treasury set aside. And then, from some of the transaction fees that we collect from the protocol revenue, they will actually be used to purchase TAI tokens on the open market, which goes back into the community treasury. And then with the community treasury, during different types of community events, we would use the TAI tokens to sort of incentivize users. So it's kind of used as a catalyst for us to drive growth, build community. That's like the practical use cases for TAI tokens currently. Yeah.
Amazing, thanks. So we hope you understand the role of our governance token, iFlash. So that will be it. We don't have any more questions for today. We hope you guys have had all the information you needed from this piece about the liquidity migration program. If you have any other questions after this call, you can mention the ambassadors or anyone from the team, and we'll be happy to guide you. Thank you for attending today, guys, and we will sign off now. Have a good day, everyone.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.